All right, let's talk about NFTs. What are they? Why are they worth so much money? Why is a CryptoPunk currently going for 54, almost 55 ETH at $236,000 for this JPEG thing? The answer is these are all crypto communities. So if you buy one of these NFTs, you get exclusive access to a Discord channel you can only get by proving you own one of these NFTs. So you're kind of like joining a club or a crypto community. And there's collections on every single network, and there's a bunch of different collections on each one. So the top ones for Solana are Famous Fox Federation, Solana Monkey Business, Mad Labs, DeGods. There's new ones all the time. On Ethereum, CryptoPunks is the biggest one. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Pudgy Penguins, Azuki. So these are all groups on Ethereum that give you access to an exclusive Discord. So you're basically getting insider knowledge on that network. Oftentimes airdrops of tokens like we saw with Ape, with Bored Ape Yacht Club, or Pengu with Pudgy Penguins, or exclusive whitelists to mint new and upcoming projects, either for free or at a discounted cost before everyone else gets to. And that's what people are paying for, is the exclusive access, the membership, the club, a community to hang out with that's deeply connected in that ecosystem, and then airdrops, whitelists, a whole bunch of other stuff. So before we dive into each one of these, let's talk about what an NFT is at its core. So it's a non-fungible token. You can just think of that as like a non-fractional token. So if you go to CoinMarketCap, all these coins are fungible. So one Bitcoin is the same as another Bitcoin. Or you can buy a fractional Bitcoin. You can buy like 0.001 Bitcoin. And if you send all those different types of pieces to one wallet, it's all just going to blend together and add it up because it's all the same thing. Those are fungible. With NFTs, it doesn't work that way. Each one of these is different. CryptoPunks is the token, and all of these are CryptoPunk tokens, but each CryptoPunk is not the same as the other one, and they won't blend together in a wallet. They have to be a full share. There's no fractional shares here. So there's only 10,000 of them, and you have to buy a whole one. And each one is different, hence the non-fungible thing. Other than that, they're the same thing. They're just tokens in your wallet. Each one is separate, and a lot of times they point to like an image or something to be represented on this interface like this. And they have metadata saved into them, like the traits that they get and stuff like that. So that's the general gist between fungible and non-fungible. Once you understand that, you can start diving into the different networks and the communities. So most of these are just some kind of exclusive club that give you all those perks, and that's why people are paying for them. And they're getting in the top communities with, developers and all these networks and whales, OGs, and that's why people are going to pay all this money to get into like the CryptoPunks Discord. Like who would be in that Discord? You have people who have probably been in the space for a really long time, have a lot of insider knowledge that's super valuable. Same with Bored Ape Yacht Club, and a lot of these are doing like real life events, all these kind of crazy use cases. They're really kind of coming up with it along the way. Because NFTs are in an experimental phase. Like this is the first thing that NFTs have done, but they're going to be in-game assets like what Off the Grid is doing, where this is an Xbox game. You can play the game, earn these assets, and then go sell them on OpenSea if you want to. But this is also opening the gates to like being able to hold items from one game to another. Instead of having to rebuy the same thing in every game, maybe you just buy a gun and you can play with it in every Call of Duty game. Maybe you play one game and it can see that you have tokens from their other game in your wallet, so they give you like an exclusive skin or something in the game. I don't know. I definitely can see gaming using NFTs a lot. I think music artists are using it a lot too. MP3s can be NFTs. They've sold limited copies of songs. Tickets could be another thing, like concert tickets. So they could sell them. You can sell them to your friends in a peer-to-peer way. No more Ticketmaster in the middle. You can also drop give discounts to people who buy your tickets, and then you can see that they bought them before because everything's public on the blockchain. So if you plug your wallet into the same site again, they're going to be able to read your wallet and see if you bought a ticket before and maybe give you 10% because you did. And then eventually it'll be like the deed to your house or the title to your car and way more important stuff like that, because there's so much paperwork behind that can definitely be replaced by a smart contract and an NFT in the future. So that's where NFTs are going. Right now, all it is these communities on all these different networks. To take it a step further, let's dissect one of the biggest ones and just kind of know what we're looking at here. So, Bored Ape Yacht Club. So if you're looking at this, let's look at the stats. So we have about 10,000 Bored Apes, 300 are listed, you got 5,500 owners. Like, these are the things you want to look at. You want a lot of owners. If there's only a few hundred owners, that means there's a ton of people with a lot of these tokens or something, like that's not a good sign. You want a lot of different people. That shows a big community. Less likely one person's going to dump the whole thing. And then you don't want to see a lot listed. Like, if no one's willing to sell it, that's definitely a good sign. So like, this is definitely a healthy NFT that nobody's got it listed. Less than 10% is listed. You got 3%, and pretty healthy community of like 5,500 people in there already. But every token's going to be different, and they'll all have different total supplies. But the way that most of these have launched is there's some kind of fixed supply, and then there's what they call a mint day. And what that is originally none of these were created. They were all just 10,000 blank canvases. And somebody creates a monkey in Photoshop, right? And then they create a bunch of different layers, which are all the traits that you see. So in Photoshop, they probably create, in this case, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different categories of traits. So that's 7 different layers, and then, multiple different traits within each one of those categories that gets randomly generated. So they create this multi-layer thing in Photoshop, and then they create a program that randomly generates one trait from each layer, and then they put that into a smart contract, have 10,000 clean slates, and then launch the contract on mint day, and people can go to that website and plug their wallet in, and then usually they have to pay like a small mint fee or something to randomly generate one of these and create a unique monkey, basically. And then hopefully you mint out all 10,000 of them, and now you've created a community of individual owners, everyone who came and minted it. You've created this randomly generated collection, and you've also collected a bunch of ETH from that mint fee to create a treasury and then do something with those funds. So it's almost like crowdfunding at the same time too. And a lot of them have reinvested that money into new projects or new ventures. Some of them just keep the underlying token and stake it because that's good income, and then they just redistribute that to the community and maybe their own staking contract or some other way. But a lot of them will give back, and those are the more successful ones. They'll do real life meetups, spend money doing that stuff. Others have just cut and run, and that definitely happens. A lot of them are just completely rug pulled and just go to zero and are trash. That's a majority of these, let's be honest, but there are a few that are definitely worth being in, and I think will continue to raise in price. So that's kind of the general gist. Somebody creates a bunch of layers in Photoshop with different traits in each category. They hype it up on Discord and X and reach out to all the top communities, give them whitelist spots so that they come out and mint. Hopefully they mint the whole thing out. Now they've created a community, they got a treasury, now they can venture out and do something with the money, and they got a community behind them, and it just evolves from there. And that's what most of these are. So yes, NFTs will be something bigger in the future, but that's mostly what's going on here in NFTs today, are these exclusive groups. So if you're looking to get into it, I would just hop over to Magic Eden and just start browsing on each network. You know, go to the 30-day. The longer it's been around, the better. You want something tried and true. There's new ones launching every day. I would look at Ethereum and Solana. Those are the two biggest ones. Maybe AVAX because they're getting into gaming. Bitcoin you could, but it's a little shady with how that works. I'm not sure if I really like it, because you can accidentally send some sats in your wallet with your NFT on it if you're not using an ordinal wallet and it doesn't know. Like, there's definitely, it's not as clean as other networks. So I would go to Solana and Ethereum first. Like, you got Famous Fox Federation on here, DeGods, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Neo Tokyo is a good one. This is one that a YouTuber created. And a lot of them will have two different tiers. So like this one has the main collection, which is at 2 ETH. I don't know why this is taking so long to load. But some of them will have multiple tiers. Like Famous Fox Federation has the Transdimensional Fox Generation, which is a cheaper entry. You just don't get as much staking rewards with it, but you mostly have the same access. DeGods has the Ute. You literally have the same access with that one. Neo Tokyo is another one. There's the regular collection, and then the Outer Citizens, which are cheaper, so you get less staking rewards, but you still get into the community. So that's pretty much it. It's just these communities that are offering exclusive access to things. So important takeaways: the difference between fungible and non-fungible. You know, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, where 1 CryptoPunk does not equal another CryptoPunk. And the general gist of what's going on today are these communities and insider groups, and that's why they're worth anything right now. But in the future, there'll be a lot more. It'll be more serious stuff like the deed to your house or the title to your car or something. Some other honorable mentions are Loaded Lions, which was created by Crypto.com. So that's kind of unique because an actual exchange created this one. And they created a game that you can use those NFTs in. They give you perks. You can get land NFTs in it. And they have a whole Discord you can talk with and a unique chat if you hold one of their NFTs. They also have a decentralized exchange that they just launched called Minted, so that's another one. There's Stargaze on Atom, which is another NFT marketplace. Blue Friends is another honorable mention. You get a free VPN by owning one of those. And the reason all this is important is because where we are in the cycle right now, all the top stuff is already pumping. Like, those entries are gone. Now's the time to be waiting to cash out of those. But money is going to start trickling down into everything else. So if you're buying anything right now, you're going to want to look lower. And NFTs are like the lowest of the low point. This is the super speculative stuff that moves last in the grand scheme of things. But they also sometimes move the most because there's the least amount of money in this stuff. So when that money finally hits the bottom of this trickle down in gaming and NFTs and all this really niche, small market cap stuff, it's going to move a lot more than the higher market cap stuff will. So the main use case is really to get into these NFT Discord groups. And you can see CryptoPunks has one, Bored Ape Yacht Club has one, Neo Tokyo's got one, Famous Fox Federation, DeGods, Blue Friends, Pudgy Penguins, Loaded Lions. And you can get into a lot of these without owning the NFT. The NFT just gets you into the exclusive locked Discord if there is one. But you can still like get in before you buy the NFT and see what's going on, get a feel for it. So that's all I got. Peace out till next time.